The story begins with a story about what is happening. Mysterious demons appeared out of nowhere 20 years ago. Wherever they went, all the buildings of houses and offices were constantly destroyed around them, and people who did not have time to escape from their attacks died. The sky was painted red, the color of real blood. People were already running over the corpses so as not to become part of this pile of bodies themselves. These monsters are simply terrible because they cannot be pierced by their ordinary human weapons. The fate of humanity is on the verge. It seemed that everyone would die. But because of this chaos, not only monsters came into the world, but also people who were nicknamed Awakening. The all-consuming chaos was diluted with a drop of light in the form of defenders. But they also had their limitations. They needed to reach a certain rank to start fighting this world evil. If we talk about how many such people exist in the world, then there are only a couple of such people among them. But above the A rank itself, even less. There are 7 of these ranks in total. The lowest is D, the highest is SSS, and the most revered ranks in this world are above. They have achieved a lot, especially against the background of those who do not have Awakening. The main character, Zheng Jie, has an SSS rank Awakening, and his ability is a summoner. He took his hands away from the ball that determined his rank and talent, and the fairy who was next to him was very shocked, as was Jan himself. He is the one who can defeat the monsters. He is one of the heroes of humanity. The events of the story begin in China, the city of Tianfeng. This city looks like a metropolis because there are a lot of large buildings in it, and from the top you can see how a huge number of cars are moving. The weather is clearly very good because the sun is shining and the sky is clear. Just a few clouds. Our main character studies at the 5th Academy, while his classmates are spending quite an active time. Zheng Jie is looking out the window. They talk about their talents. One of the guys who knelt on the desk is praying to the Lord that he will grant him a rank talent. The other guy, most likely his friend, says that he bent his desire too much. Still, there are about 1,000 people with this rank, and the guy in the purple shirt is worried about what kind of talent he will have. He even covered his face with excitement. Among these conversations, there are those who are also not interested in these talents and ranks. But still, talk of talents was going around everywhere. For example, according to rumors, someone from high school turned out to have an S-rank talent. It was a girl who then entered the Qin Martial Arts Academy. Today she is considered one of the best hunters in the territory of demons. Many envied such an achievement, saying that they would also like to. And mercantile people still began to count how much she could earn with her status. A person who cares about money was reproached with the fact that people's health is much more important than some pieces of paper with which it will be impossible to kill people. And he shrugs off that they will still be average people with a low possibility of defeating monsters that have invaded the earth. While his classmates were feeding on rumors, Jan is worried that his funds will soon run out and he will have to sell his parents' house. He was looking at something on his phone, but most likely he was looking at his account, which is why he concluded that most likely he should sell the house. But he also had another idea how to make money. Only for that, he should have gone to the territory of the demons. And he remembers how he ended up in this world, where he is now. 10 years ago, he was transported from his world to this one, and his name Zheng Jie was given by his adoptive parents, who were able to shelter the boy. They treated him as if he really was their own son, who had been with them since his birth. There were only 3 people in this family before his appearance: father, mother, and daughter. But as soon as the family was replenished with one more person, their life became even brighter. 20 years ago, a mysterious wormhole appeared in the sky, and the monsters that emerged from it began to destroy the peaceful population of this universe. As stated earlier, human weapons were weak in the face of these wickedness. One day, monsters attacked the place where Zheng Jie lived. His foster parent was lying on the ground in a very terrible condition, and most likely dead. And then one of the monsters that looks like a gargoyle on the Cathedral of the Virgin of Paris decided to eat it. And it all happened in front of 2 children. Their father shouted at them to get out of here and find a safe place. And the boy was named to take care of his younger sister instead of them. My father was crushed by part of one destroyed building. At that moment, Zheng Jie felt burdened because his parents had died before his eyes. She and her sister are just children. Where can they go in this big and unfair world? Then a huge monster appears that is moving towards them. Compared to the fact that he had just eaten half of mom, this one seemed like a giant, and even uglier than a gargoyle demon. And he crushed the poor man that couldn't get out from under the rubble. Humans didn't stand a chance against these monsters, but they put as much effort as they could to resist these creatures from the wormhole. And finally they were back where they came from. Only now people realized that everything would not be so simple, because on the other side they become stronger, and these forces remain with them in the original world. Therefore, it was decided to create a special association of monster hunters, where they will be divided into 5 ranks. These elite demon fighting troops on their territory have achieved good results. However, not all monsters can be defeated, because each monster has its own hunter rank. After all, demons often appear, which only people of the 5th rank are able to cope with. Also, people have their own talents, which are defined from D to SSS. As a rule, the rank reflects a person's strength and, consequently, combat capability. To become a hunter of the 1st rank, you need to have a level of talent. Finally, the hero returns home with thoughts of awakening his talent and passing the exam. He needs to feed not only himself, but also his little sister. He looked at what she had brought him as a gift for his birthday. He calms her worries by saying that she has a talent for another, so she should not worry about a spoiled dish. He recalls to her the dialogue when they agreed that cooking would be on his shoulders. His sister has a blockage at school, and her health is no better. Later they fight over this piece of meat, because they still don't have as much food as they would like to have. His little sister is going to visit her friend, even before 9:30, but her brother lets her go. He's worried about her, but time is running out for him to go to the territory of demons and awaken his talent. The clock shows 7:30 in the evening, and a sign with the inscription 10 seconds delay appeared on the bracelet. Before his departure, his thoughts were only that he needed an rank talent to save his sister and feed her. As soon as he gets to the place where he is determined on the spot, he is met by a little fairy guide. It's all in yellow tones, like a light. Although light has always been a conductor, so it is not surprising why such a color prevails in the image of the baby. And now the territory opened up before him, where the definition of talent takes place. The hero examines the local landfill, but before he has to get there, he will need to choose a name and equipment. Due to the fact that Zheng Jie has read various guides on hunting, he says that he will be called Rakshasa, and there will be a camouflage suit in his equipment. This is because of the high danger, so you should not stand out among the landscape. Smoke appeared around him, which caused the transformation. Now he was dressed in a camouflage suit, which consisted of a tight-fitting jacket, share of our trousers. All this was tightened with a belt, and on his shoulders was a cloak with a hood. Everything is done in blue tones. And now, the very moment X, when he learns his talent, he only needs to put his hands to a special ball, which will give the fairy conductor data about his ability. He prays that he has an rank talent to become a hunter on demons and fight them, just to ensure a good life for yourself and your sister. As soon as he puts his hands to the ball, everything inside lights up with gold, and not only the ball burns with gold. The whole room is filled with this light, and then abruptly goes out. This leads him into a misunderstanding of what is happening now. After all, he has only one question. What is his talent rank? The fairy looks and is very surprised. Zheng Jie begins to worry about this reaction to the information received. In response, he hears that he has a talent of SSS rank, and he himself is called the talent of summoning. He is surprised by this situation, so he asks again if he heard this information, which was presented to him by the fairy guide. The fairy tells that it used to be believed that the awakened talent of SSS rank was just a part of various legends. No one has ever seen people with this rank of ability before. Zheng Jie is happy about this, because it is enough for him to enter the elite academy and secure a decent future for himself, because just S rank is enough for this. Now he will definitely heal as much as his capabilities will allow him. A table opens in front of him with data on his ability to learn a little about it. His talent is of the 1st level. It's all worth only 10 units of endurance. To recharge this ability, you only need to wait 60 seconds. How does everything work? It's enough to kill some monster, as you can summon an exact copy of it. There are absolutely no restrictions on the time of the call. The maximum copy level is only 5. With the increase of the talent level itself, the number of copies that can be summoned increases. On the 1st level, 10, on the 2nd already 30. This ability is really considered quite strong. Therefore it belongs to a high rank. As the hero assumes, he will gain almost an army of monsters when he uses his ability. Dozens of different monsters immediately appear in his fantasies, but then he calms himself down, because it's not forever just a dream. You also need to review your other characteristics. Therefore, Jan decides to open the status window. The state of Rakshasa is as follows: 100 health, 110 stamina, damage 1 to 10. Dexterity is only 10 units. All of his following characteristics have the same meaning as ordinary people, that is, 10. Only here the power of the spirit has the statistics of 11. The overall assessment of the hero's skills is the beginner level. For him, the whole way is still ahead. He wonders why his spirit power is higher than that of ordinary people. He makes an assumption towards the fact that he is from another world, therefore his strength of spirit is much higher. Finally, the fairy gives him permission to enter the territory of the demons. She disappears, wishing the hero good luck. The dome around the hero, where he recognized his abilities, began to disappear, and a very bright world appeared around, where the sun shone brightly and clouds floated. Birds were flying in the sky, and in the distance a river was visible, which flows further and further beyond the horizon. The place where the hunters who arrived in this world gathered was like a ring square with 4 huge columns, where energy was accumulated. It was all on the edge, and after the edge there was an abyss. There were 2, most likely, curators, a girl and a guy. The girl had her hair pulled up in a bun, glasses, and SS gray-blue eyes. In her hands was a tablet with some notes, and on his chest was a badge with information about her. To her right stood a man, also with a badge on his chest. His physique was strong. His face was somehow dissatisfied, and there was a scar on his arm that was most likely left by monsters. They were waiting for the newly arrived hero with SSS rank talent, and Zheng Jie was already lost in the crowd, because there were many magicians through whom he had to go to the goal. There were strong men and fragile girls here. Even such a number of people was noticed by Zheng himself. He heard some exclamations from some company, and there was a rather pompous guy in the center. There was a choker with spikes on his neck, and there were piercings in his nose and lip. His hairstyle was more like the hairstyle of rock stars. He boasted of his rank talent, which was referred to as the Fist of Strength. All the newcomers admired him, because this is a whole rank that allows you to start hunting. Yes, there were those who absolutely did not envy anyone with high ranks and enjoyed their own, which they got by fate in this life. But there were also those who were very disappointed in their talent, because his rank reached the lowest, D rank. Such characters fell to their knees and almost roared, and some even roared. They were just told to pull themselves together and not cry, because this is not the end of their lives, and it would be safer for them to live with D rank, because they do not need to fight with any creatures from another world. And here is the X moment when they are told to get in line so that all of them who receive their talent today will be given weapons. They are being instructed, because they are only beginners who got here. The territory of demons is not a toy, because if they die, they will not rise again. This is not an RPG game where you can rejoice in the world as much as you want if you survive. Here is real life, where death is death and no one will hide from it. If none of them is normal and serious about this case, they will most likely die a very stupid death. After all, they are on the battlefield, and the laws, as you know, do not work on the battlefield at all the way I work in a peaceful state. But do not forget that there are such people as liars, murderers, or looters, because who knows who got into this territory and for what. Do not turn off your vigilance if you see the same person as you. The girl who was the curator explains how to return back to the human world. They just need to go back to where they came from, that is, to the place where they are now. Only the altar can bring them back. Now the hero's turn has come to take up arms. First he needs to name the rank of his talent, otherwise he will not get a weapon. But the hero decides that it's not worth saying yet that his talent has SSS rank, so he hides behind D rank. According to Z, it is better to accumulate strength now in order to really become a great rival for demons in the future. While he is choosing a weapon for himself, you can hear him being discussed because of his low rank. Yes, even though they don't know the truth, they are still gossiping rats. The hero receives a wooden bow, which still has no quality, features, and damage varies from 10 to 20 units, but it's in good condition. The man who gave him the weapon says that the wary live much longer in this world than the daredevils. Having finally finished distributing weapons to newly arrived hunters, they come to the conclusion that every year there are fewer and fewer good people with a rank. And this year, only 3 people have the rank of Talent A, but they are terribly reckless. At this time, the main character is trying to learn how to shoot a bow, which he himself decided to master. The curator was watching him all this time. As it turned out, archery is one of the difficult things, as it seemed at first glance, because Jan hit only one time in the bullseye. In a real fight, no one would give him any favors so that he could master the bow. And so far there are no copies for the draft, so as not to waste any strength. And until he defeats the first monster, he will have to fight on his own. First learn to shoot, and then kill the first monster for your collection. And so, when too many attempts had passed to learn how to shoot from his own weapon, he finally managed to hit exactly the target. Of course, the skills may not be perfect, but bow proficiency is level 4, which is only 80%. His hands were all worn out by the constant attack on the targets. He goes on the road to finally kill the first monster. Monsters of the first level are nothing: a hard rabbit, a lava turtle, a night wolf. And one of these, namely a lava turtle, came across one of the groups. They couldn't handle her in any way, but Z decided to divert her attention to himself while the others escape. Despite all his words about making friends, this is just a way to lure. It is unlikely that she will understand what he is asking her for. Now it's his turn to run away from this turtle with fear. He runs up to the altar, and this turtle is hit by a blow from one of the columns, causing a critical one. As soon as 190 points are removed from the demon's health, the hero shoots a triple shot in order to finish off these 10% of health, and the monster is defeated. He now has one lower rank magical soul sphere in his arsenal. A guide to the territory of monsters appeared in front of the hero. It says that after the death of a monster, a random magical sphere of the soul falls out of it. They are of the lowest, middle and highest ranks. Red is strength, green is physique, blue is fortitude, and yellow is agility. To increase the characteristic, you need to absorb the sphere. Also, the rank of the sphere depends on the number by which the characteristic will increase. The lowest gives 100th, the average 1/10th, and the highest 1. And the hero also read that the lower sphere can be sold for 1,000, so he does not absorb it yet. And now he has the opportunity to summon his demon, or to be more precise, a lava turtle. Now this cute and kind turtle will be the hero's familiar. At this time, other newcomers to this world were fighting another monster. It was a tough rabbit, against which there were only 3 people, and Ming was very badly hurt because of the fighting blow of this demon right in the face. The other 2 didn't like it much, which made their blood boil more at the sight of this creature. One even threatens that he will strangle them with the same rabbit ears. By this time it was evening, and now a lava turtle appears behind, and our hero Zheng Jie is sitting on it. Everyone arrives in a kind of shock because of what they saw. Zhan was sitting right on this shell volcano. Unlike the usual expression of the turtle's muzzle, this one showed some more positive emotions. She only giggles at those who find themselves in a difficult situation. The guys are more surprised, because monsters always attack people, and this turtle listens to him. One even envied, and the third thought that it was possible to tame these demons. And Min suggests trying to tame the monster, too, the same hard rabbit. And this rabbit hit him from behind like a rat, although it's just a demon. Although, one would have thought that he understood what this young man was talking about, so he hit him out of all 3 guys who were standing there. When this hare, sensing a threat, jumps back, it goes into a combat trance mode. His whole body tensed, muscles appeared, which clearly helped in strengthening him. And also 2 more similar rabbits came out from behind the bushes. That is why the plan of a simultaneous attack in order to win successfully fell away very quickly. These demons were clearly very angry. It can be seen from their blood-red eyes. All 3 guys were scared, so they ran away. Zhan calmly moved around the territory on a lava turtle. It was nice for him to walk around the field and watch the sunset. Here are the same guys who ran up to them from the rabbits, shouting that they were all going to die. They warned the turtle brother, asking him to run. She turns around to see how the creatures of this part of the world are running, and they run very fast to catch up with others. He got into an altercation with 3 tough rabbits. He begged the lava turtle to beat to harm them. They work well enough as a team, because the lava turtle hits critical blows, and the Rakshasa himself finishes off. Although he is not very happy with the fact that he does less damage than his own familiar. But due to the fact that the lava turtle is quite slow, the blows of rabbits easily pass, which is why they strike a lot of blows. The hero is worried about the turtle, the poet is trying to save her. And here are a few more blows, as all ordinary rabbits that have not entered a combat trance die quickly. Only that same aggressive monster strikes a fairly strong blow of 30 health units. He doesn't want to let his first familiar die, so he continues to damage this rabbit. And so, he uses the call of 3 birds with 1 stone. Only now his own. A message comes that there is an important announcement for the newbies, so they need to gather at the altar. The lava turtle has raised its level to the 2nd by this point, so it quickly deals with this monster that was in enhanced mode. Now he has 3 more spheres. At a meeting at the altar, they are introduced to one of the strong people who can defeat the night wolf calmly. She is an expert, so she will take them to the next gate, only now to the 2nd floor. The girl looks very cute. Her name is Lai Yuying, and the alias in the territory of the demons is Moon Shadow. Everyone admires her beauty, and the fact that perhaps she is the same girl who awakened the talent of S rank. Lai Yu explains that Night Eyes is not something simple, so everyone will have to listen to her instructions during the battle. Everyone has a sign with an invitation to the group. The main characteristics about her are hidden, so you can only find out her code, equipment and general assessment of combat skills. She is a skilled swordsman. Her equipment is called a rapier. In the thoughts of the hero, the idea of taking possession of the night wolf in the form of his familiar appears. The weather is bright outside, but a group of people in the territory of demons are moving through the dark forests. Monsters tried to attack them, but the moon shadow quickly dealt with them. With a single swing of the weapon, she dealt a critical blow of 120 units. Everyone admires and is surprised by her. That's the strength of an S-rank talent. She reproaches everyone for staring at her. That's why she says it's time for them to go. The hero comes to the idea that he will not be able to finish off the boss, because she will be able to kill him faster than he himself. Here they are already in a place where night reigns, and on one of the cliffs there was a wolf that howled at the full moon. This is the roar of the night wolf they were looking for. A portal appears in front of them, through which the night wolf appears. If they want to survive everything and go to the second floor, then they should stay close to the swordswoman and not attack themselves. This ox is simply intimidating. It carries a fog behind it, which closes the view of the fight between the wolf and the girl. Everyone is panicking because the wolf is too fast. For some, it's just a nightmare, because the first floor is difficult for them, and this will be the second. Liu copes with this wolf very gracefully, dealing him fairly high critical hits. This is all thanks to her S-rank talent Sword of Light Cut. Some did not even have time to see what was happening during the battle. The characteristics of her talent are not bad. Ability level is 1, experience is 378, cooldown is only 60 seconds. Effect: multiple sword strikes, the damage of each strike doubles. If the last attack deals critical damage, the damage is doubled again. And depending on the level of talent, the number of attacks per use increases. Finally, everyone got the key to go to the next floor, so everyone thanks her. And she herself is going to the 5th floor to farm resources from the boss from there. The rest of you need to have time to go to the 2nd floor until the boss has respawned, or to be more precise, go within 1 hour. But just another ox came out of the portal, which is referred to as the Elite Night Shadow. He is much stronger than a normal night wolf. If we talk briefly about who the Elite Night Shadow is, then this is an elite floor boss who is stronger than the usual one. The swordswoman asks everyone to leave, because otherwise they will only prevent her from fighting this creature. Zheng Jie is worried about her, so don't rush to leave. She reflects that her goal is to let the newcomers escape from this place, so that they can then safely go to the 2nd floor of this world. To do everything in her power, no matter what. With the help of her attacks, the damage could not do anything really worthwhile. She is concerned about the level of protection of the Elite Night Wolf, because the damage she inflicted did not cause any harm. His speed is much higher than the speed of the other. This hurts quite badly, which leads to bleeding, which will take off 1% of health every 10 seconds. Initially, she lost only 115 health units. The hero is worried about what might happen to the girl, and the desire to take over the boss of this level is also growing. Therefore, he is in no hurry to run with the others. The Moon Shadow has not been able to use its ability properly for a long time, because it has lost a lot of blood and its health has decreased very much, while at this time the monster had only a miserable half of HP removed. The elite boss of the first level is much more difficult, so even it is very difficult for her to defeat him. And now, it seemed that she was about to die from the paws of this beast, but our Zheng Jie came to her aid. He attracts the demon's attention so that the girl can get out and heal herself. She wonders why he came, and then sends him Obartno to the rest of the newcomers so that he does not provoke him and stays alive. He runs away from this wolf, beckoning for him. He understands that he cannot die in any way, otherwise who will take care of his sweet and sick sister? And so that his familiars could roam, the hero decides to pull this monster out into the open field, where he will give full reign to his subordinates. Liu was lying on the ground and drinking a potion that helps restore her health points. She was very indignant that the newcomer went on his own for an elite boss. She thinks she needs to save him as soon as possible. She has to put bandages on herself to stop the bleeding. Another person approaches her, who also uses his green blessing talent. It heals wounds, and the one who owns it is called as a princess. 3 more people appeared here, who are most likely one team along with the Moon Shadow. They scold her for the fact that she alone climbed to the elite boss because she thought she could supposedly cope with him. One of the guys asks a question about the location. The wounded woman warns them that he was taken away by a novice who had just discovered his talent. Zheng Jie was only giving orders to his familiars. They work according to tactics. Hares surround the wolf to prevent him from attacking calmly, and the turtle beats. One of the rabbits raised his level from the 1st to the 2nd. Only the other 2 rabbits were killed by elite strikes. But still, despite the fact that such a loss occurred, as well as only 1 hard rabbit, and 1 lava turtle remained in the hero's arsenal, This does not let him lose heart. And now the turtle finishes off this wolf with one swipe of its tail. The boss dropped items such as 4 magic soul spheres of medium rank, a necklace made of wolf fangs, and a dagger made of wolf bone. As expected from an elite boss, a medium-ranked sphere, the hero decides to keep the necklace, but he does not know what to do with the dagger, because he is not going to get involved in close combat. He's thinking about selling it to someone, and so Zhang calls the wolf, who has very good stats. 3000 health, the attack varies from 260 to 380 units, and the defense is as much as 1500. His ability is a night cut. Finally, the higher heroes found the place where the battle took place. They think that Z is dead, and Lai Yu wants to go to Teacher Ui tomorrow to tell about the death of a young man. Zhan Zi is already at home and looking at his inventory to see what he can sell over the internet. He wants to know how these spheres work before giving anything away. He takes the red one, which increases his strength. And judging by the guides he read, his strength will increase in the real world just like in the monster world. He decides to check this case already at school. In the morning, his little sister cooked breakfast, even though he was against it, because he wanted to do it himself. He understands her cooking skills. He remembers her illness. His little sister has problems with an artificial kidney, so she will soon pay for an apartment. Too many costs. He decides that he should tell him that he has a talent of SSS rank, although then he just throws this thought away. He doesn't want her to worry about him and the fact that he's fighting in the monster world. The girl offers him to find a regular job instead of going to the world of demons. She thinks that if he returned late, then he has a very low rank. She says that she can pay for the apartment herself, and he only asks him about where her money will come from. But apparently he stopped all her options that she put forward, because as soon as he goes outside, he advises to focus on studying for now. At school, everyone discusses their ranks. Here's one guy disappointed in the fact that he has a D rank talent, the other has a B rank. And his friend got angry because of this, so he showed him that they had an agreement that both would be worthless. At this time, his spheres were almost bought, because they are very expensive. He was paid enough at an online auction. He calculated that the money should be enough for the treatment of his sister. But before she could, the girl Lai Yu entered the classroom, and the teacher asked who helped her cope with the boss. Zhan Zi just snorted and continued to transfer funds. He doesn't want to shine again right now. But due to the fact that no one volunteered, the teacher and the girl left the classroom for a conversation. Now there are rumors about who it could be. The hero is hooked by a puffy, who calls himself on the territory of monsters as a beautiful puffy. He invited the girls to hunt in the territory of monsters, so he offers the same to the hero, but he refuses under the pretext of work. He only understands that his sister needs money and therefore simply says that if he needs to go to the demon world, he will be happy to join him. In physical education, the guy was cleaning the floor. Everyone praised Zheng King, who was very strong. His punch was 507 kilograms. He has a talent of a rank. The hero was eavesdropping on the conversation, and then he decided to test himself, so he hit the pair, which measures strength. 497 kilograms were displayed there. This is much more than it was before. It's all because of the sphere he used, because recently there were only 390. But then he gets a message that his sister is going to stay with a friend all night, and Jan decides that they should talk. In the meantime, he will go to the farmed spheres. He moves back to the demon territory and looks at the list of familiars. He has 3 occupied slots and as many as 7 empty ones, because so far only 10 will be available to him at the first talent level. He made a decision that he would not go to the second floor until he had 10 monsters. He summoned the Night Shadow, so he quickly recruited a whole team to go to the second floor as he had planned it. But suddenly he heard cries for help, and people were running away from the portal. Zhan Zi recognizes Wang Yang and one of them, that he talked to him in the morning at school.